up, everybody? I want to say welcome back, or I don't know, do you say that when you're starting something new but it has the same vibe? I don't know. So, we're doing an edition of Queen Phierce Has Spoken. You gotta let me know, like, how you feeling this. So, most of you may know me from the Queen Network. And I'm still going to do some things with the Queen Network. It's time for the Queen Network to shift into what it's really supposed to be, which is a network of queens. So look forward to me reaching out to each and every one of you to be part of this fabulous network. But as far as my followers and queens out there and people who just want to hear a word on a Wednesday or come check us out or see who we have popping with our guests, tune in to Queen Phierce Has Spoken, okay? Because I'm going to be speaking about a lot of things, okay? So make sure you hit the subscribe button because this is a new thing to get an alert for. So hit subscribe, like, comment, let me know that you're here. So if you're watching today, you're watching on a watch party, I'm in the comments with y'all. So whatever is resonating with you or you just want to get involved in the conversation, drop a comment because I'm going to be peeping it. All right? And I'm going to be looking for you and you and you and you and you. So for those of you who do not know who I am, as the title says, Queen Phierce Has Spoken. That's me speaking. I am Queen Phierce. Can you tell? Can you tell? Can you not tell? Yes, honey. So I am super excited to be here today. So I know I've been missing in action for a little bit. Kind of laid low this summer. You might have caught me outside because we outside. Or however y'all say that. But it's time for me to really like get back in the flow of the things, the queen things, the conversations, the love, the art that all of these beautiful black Nubian empresses are doing right here in our community. So I'm super excited. I hope that you follow me on this journey. Again, like, comment, subscribe. What? Like, comment, subscribe. So let's just get into it. I'm your host, Queen Phierce, and today is a very special day because I chose this comeback on the day that one of my ancestors was born. So I'm so excited to celebrate her. It is my grandmother. Her name is Eleanor Elmore. People who love her call her Ellie. I switch it up. I'll be like grandma, or Ellie. That's what I say. That's what I call her. I call her Ellie now when I'm talking to her. So, you know, I that's probably the closest ancestor that I have conversations with because she's the one that ain't never go nowhere. I carry her name, so I carry her right here. So I'm super excited, and to join me in this celebration today will be my very own mother. Y'all know her as New Trey, okay? I call her affectionately Mom, aka Trey Bay. Hey, girl. And we're going to jump into a conversation about Ellie, about honoring our ancestors, about things that we should celebrate, about the resilience of black women that is right in your bloodline. We have to celebrate these legacies because we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that if I had my grandmother in the physical form right by my side, she would be telling me each and every second how proud she is of me. So she does tell me. That's how I know. I know that I am honoring her legacy by just continuing to move on and move forward and being who she always thought I would be. So we're going to get our wine popping like we do in celebrations. I got some flowers. Do y'all think grandma would like these? I asked my mom what her favorite flower was, and we were thinking lilies, but she loved all kinds of flowers. So I came across these gladiolus, I think it's called. uh, yesterday for the low, as somebody who is not sponsoring me, but I love them so much. Trader Joe's. So make sure y'all go check out Trader Joe's for your fresh flowers because this whole thing right here is giving me so much life. And this was the last of this color, so I'm super excited to have it here. So I think we have everything we need to make sure we get this celebration popping. And we're going to transition and flow right into the conversation with my mother, my favorite queen, Bday. Y'all stay tuned, okay? Go grab your beverage, okay? Because this is a conversation, little intergenerational thing that you do not want to miss. Can you see the flowers now?
Yep.
Aren't they pretty?
They are beautiful. I was getting ready to say.
I got them from Trader Joe's.
I guess you're right on time with the flowers because you know Mom loved all those flowers.
I know. So I was like, oh, these are pretty. And these are the only ones of this color that they had.
Wow.
And it was like a whole bunch of $4.99. These flowers were. And this whole big thing, $4.99.
That's like, beautiful. For $4.99?
Yes. I asked like 4 different people. I was like, are you sure these $4.99? Give me those flowers. Okay. So hello everyone, as promised, we are transitioning into our interview with the one, the only, my mother, okay, the Queen New Trey, or as I like to call her, Trey Bday. Hey Mom.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody, look at you looking all cute and things. I love it. So
some things just can't be helped.
Some things can't be helped. So if you ever hear me say a one-liner and you like, where did this child get that from? I'm just let you know right now, I get it from my mama. Okay? Because some of the stuff she say, it takes me out, y'all. So I know a lot of y'all have that same story about your mothers, but this one right here, okay?
Oh my.
This one right here. Don't mess with the new Trey. I like to say new Trey for president. Because you're not going to get over on her. So you might hear a little rattle tattle here and there. I had to change my recording location. So I'm getting a nice breeze. I'm sure we're all enjoying a little break in humidity. However, it is about to storm. Like, business. So we might catch a little crosswind or whatever. Might have to hold on to the flowers, but we might catch a crosswind. So I'm excited to have my own mother on here today. She has been my number one cheerleader since day one. You see, she put the one up like automatic since day one. Okay. Number one cheerleader. So she has always supported Queen Phierce, the Queen Network. And now here she is on our very first session of Queen Phierce Has Spoken. So if you ever wondered like why I'm a little fierce, why they call me that, I get it from my mama. Okay. So cheers to you, New Trey. I am so excited that you are joining me here today. And of course, we are here to honor the one, the only, the Eleanor Elmore, or as we so affectionately call her, Ellie. So I don't know, give it up for Ellie, because without her, there would be no us.
Yes.
So before we dive into that, I just want to say hello. Do you see us? You see it. She got one, I got one. These little Queen Nubian goddess bonnet head wraps that Mom be making. Yes, New Trey made this. If you want one, hit her up. Because I know y'all going to be in the comments like, oh, where you get that from? Again, I get it from my mama. Okay. And of course, complimentary little neckwear by
Global Mindset. Always gotta give her a shout out. Oh, the earrings too. Child, I just be laced in Global Mindset every day and don't even know. And not to give free plugs or nothing, but definitely got this dress from Curve Conscious.
Hey, listen, whatever.
Listen, I plug all my Black Queen businesses, okay? Because y'all are brown diggity. We got new Trey on bonnets. Or hair wrap, bonnet hair wraps.
Yes.
Bomb wrap.
Yeah, you just gave it a new name. Bomb wrap.
Bomb wrap.
I might have to go with that.
New Trey on the bomb wrap. We got Global Mindset on the bib and earrings, wearable art. And we got Curve Conscious for your sleigh. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So excited to have and they support me the same way I support them. So I'm excited to tell you about where we get all this fabulousness from. Okay. Yes. In fact, next week we're going to have Tony from Global Mindset on for her first ever live sale. So y'all want to check
that. Wow.
So I'm really excited about that. But today we are here to celebrate Ellie. And I'm so happy we can do this on her 100th birthday. Yes. So mom brought it to my attention this morning that, hey, she was born in 1921. This would be her 100th birthday. And so maybe that is why I felt so glad to have this kind of celebration for her and to just honor her time here on this earth and how she has continued to be with us and guide us, you know, as an ancestor, like as we carry her in our hearts. So let's just get into it. One story that I never really dived into, but I know that she mentioned, is how Grandma wasn't really sure what day she was born on. Like we don't have an official birth certificate for her. So tell us how something like that would have happened. Like September 1st is the day that we've always celebrated her birthday, but there is this story of, I don't know.
Well, way back then, there were a lot of discrepancies in, I don't think that it was a thing where, you know, how the women keep up with their birth when they got pregnant, going to the doctor, having that whole line of the whole 9 months and your baby should be born on this day or that day. And nowadays that's all narrowed down and you can pretty much pinpoint it, but it all goes, even though they're pinpointing the date, it still goes by when you report to them when you missed your period, all of those kind of things. I'm not so sure that my grandmother, was, on top of that, because she was very, very young when she was actually having kids. And way back then, coming up out of the slavery period and things like that, they pretty much didn't really care about the Black folks. I'm gonna just go ahead and say the Black folks, us Black women.
Say, right
and it is what it is. You got pregnant, you follow through. We believe it was 9 months. And then finally you had a baby. And I think then it was midwives that delivered, the babies and stuff like that. And I believe that was the date that was given, but it could have been a day before, could have been a day after that date. But my mother, somehow she believed that was the date, and that's the date that she celebrated. I never knew her to celebrate anything else. It was always September the 1st. And ironically, my grandmother's birthday is September the 8th. So just a few days from now, her birthday is September the 8th.
Exactly 1 week.
Yeah. So I don't know, exactly 1 week, yes.
Awesome. So what kind of things would grandma do to celebrate her birthday?
Well, it's really, really funny because, for the issues in life and hardships in life, before I was even born, they had a period of celebrations of a lot of things that I probably I wasn't a part of. And then as we were growing up, due to different hardships and stuff like that, for a minute their birthdays became seemingly just another day. Seemingly just another day. That was my birthday. Like, she didn't make a big deal out of it. Well, she was kind of shy too, but she didn't make a big deal out of her birthday. It was my father who pushed that birthday. Okay, Ellie, tomorrow's your birthday. What you want to do? That type of thing. And my father pushed for us to remember our birthdays, to celebrate our birthdays and things like that, because, it was just an honor for him to do that because his parents died when he was 12 years old. So, I guess that's stuff that he always wanted. He made us celebrate it and he made us get into it. And so when my mother's birthday would come around, we'd have cake for her. We would do different things with her. She didn't go out and like do a party or anything like that, but we just made the day recognizable for her.
Now, I don't know about her not going out to party, because I did see a couple pictures.
I know, right?
Right, you're right.
That was before my time.
A little glass in her hand. I've seen them, Ellie. And I was like, oh, maybe this is where I get my little tight and right with the glass in my hand from. So,
listen,
yeah. I mean, all of that, I'm sure it calms down at a certain point, especially as, you grow and you have a family and things just become different. So what do you know about her childhood? Like, I know she was born in Savannah, Georgia, and that she left home at a really early age, or what we now would consider a young age. What was that transition like? Because she really was still a child, I feel like, when she left home. So how was her childhood in Savannah, and then talk about that transition at, I believe it was 14 years old?
Yes. Okay. Well, she was home. It was her and her younger sister, which she was, that both of them were the two youngest, period. And so they were home. Everybody else had left home. Of course, they was actually encouraged to go and make a way for themselves. Times was tough back then. And so but her and my aunt, they stayed home with their parents until eventually it was time for her to leave the nest. And she was about 14 years old, 13 and a half, 14 years old. And from what I understand is that she came straight from Savannah, Georgia to New York City, the wild town. And she stayed with her grandmother for a little while. My grandmother's mother stayed with her for a little while. And it's crazy because my great grandmother and my mother, they looked alike. They looked like sisters. I mean, but my mother and her mother, they didn't look like sisters. They just looked sort of different. But anyway, she landed in New York, and then of course times was tough, but no sooner than she got to New York. And listen, back then, when you traveled, you had to travel on the bus. You traveled on the back of the bus, the whole 9 yards. She was a child, scared, entered into this town, and no sooner than she got there, maybe a couple months of getting settled and things like that, she had to take off and go back down there because my grandfather passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my grandfather probably was like 38.
Oh, that's very young.
Yeah, maybe 41, 42, somewhere around in there. And, she was close to her father too, and she went back, traveled back on the bus. I don't know, they scrapped up change, scrapped up money to ride that bus. And when you rode that bus, you rode miles and miles and miles. Might have been on the bus for 2 days, I don't know. And then got down there, had the funeral, and then she had to get that bus and get back to New York and really start a life for herself. And so I think it started with doing some cleaning, you know, cleaning around the house. She didn't stay with great grandmother all the time. She ended up, I don't know, maybe with other family members, but basically it was my great grandmother.
Mhm.
And that was hard. I go back and I think about it, and it seemed to be hard. I know that was a hard life. One of those things that I would say, oh man, I'm glad I didn't come up in that time. Although we know that in all of our eras, we all have a hardship, or we have a time that when we explain it to our younger people, they are saying, oh, I'm glad I didn't come up in that time, So
I don't know. I feel like I could have been quite comfortable in the 70s. Coming up, I think about myself in like different eras in history, and how I would be. And so I know that sometimes we think about, I don't know what that would be like, or I can't imagine myself there. I really think about myself like following Harriet Tubman.
Yes.
And I think about myself like in the roaring 20s, and I think about myself in the 60s and definitely the 70s. But hey, such a time as this, I'm an 80s baby, and that's okay. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, well, I you don't like to go back all the time, but I'm a 50s baby.
Right. Well, you gotta find gratefulness in the time. I mean, because it all still centers around purpose, and why, like, we're destined to be here at the time that we're called to be here. I'm actually really involved and grateful to have this conversation, because just like I figured that I would be learning, about my family and family history during this time. And so it's just such a pleasure to honor and remember the life of Ellie. And so, wow, what a big transition to go from the South to somewhere like New York City, and then get a job and learn from your own matriarch. She was with her grandmother for some of that time, which is amazing. What about this transition now from like, okay, like I left home, I'm establishing myself, and now I'm a mother and I'm a wife. Like, what was that like for her? Like, did she meet how will you call him Papa? So did she meet Papa like in New York? How did y'all end up in Philly? Talk a little bit about like home life and just who she was in the home.
Well, it's trying to get established, she ended up with friends and, met different people and things like that. And it was, let me see, 14, she was 14, say about 17, she had my oldest brother. My oldest brother, who is my half brother.
Right.
And whom I love. He named me Teresa. But anyway, so here goes another phase of her life. You are basically a teenager with a baby, and then 3.5 years later, she has my brother Arthur. You know what I mean? And that was some may know, but some may not know, and I don't know if y'all did, but that was her first marriage. And obviously did not work out, and After that's what or whatever, my two oldest brothers was my grandmother told her to send them down south with her so that she can get established and get on her feet.
Mhm.
And so my grandmother did play an important role in making sure her daughter was able to get a better start or a fresher start. So she got them packed up with the little that they had, and she sent them down to Georgia. So Savannah, Georgia, and they both of them had stories. It was them two. They had stories of living in the South and going to school down there. And mom would work. She would get big boxes and packages together to ship down there. And in that package, like say like September, it was school time, it would be school clothes, pants, shirts, school books, notebooks, different things like that. Something that they can enjoy, like maybe a coloring book and things like that. I'm tearing up because I can just imagine how hard that probably was to send your baby somewhere else. It wasn't kids being snatched away from you, but someone was actually helping you, but they were miles and miles away. So you couldn't get that hug or that kiss from your kids. They were down there. And it wasn't no, I'm gonna ride back and forth to see how they doing. It wasn't like that. Matter of fact, I think during that time, there wasn't like no big visits of her going down there, just communication. And I think the communication probably was through letters and stuff like that. I think I found a letter not too long ago in my mother's basement old house, that was a letter to one of them on their birthday. It was something because
Wow.
I think it was
Frame it.
yeah, I think it was Archie's birthday, and his birthday is in September the 30th. So it was when I first saw it, I gotta get my hands back on it. Honestly, Alsatia, I don't remember exactly what I did with it, but it's a great piece of how they say artifact or something in the family to hold on to. But she sent they communicated like that, letters and stuff like that, and it was I love yous and different things like that. And I don't know. When I reminisce and I think about that, so they stayed down there for a while and everything. And eventually she met my father in New York City. Now listen, they met in New York City, but my father was actually from Philadelphia. And he was in the service for a while. Anyway, when he landed in New York and met mom on the platform of the subways and everything. And because listen, this is stories he used to tell me.
Hey, that's a true love story.
Yeah, and he would see her. He told us the story. He would see her every day, and every day she would duck him because he was pursuing her, and she had been through hardships with men and stuff like that, and she just wanted to make sure her boys was okay and taken care of and blah blah blah, and that's how that went. And so he told me this. I was really young. He was like, and I saw her, and she would always try to run away from me, and I knew when he had her pegged in time when she was going to be coming down on that platform to get that particular train so they can get that ferry so they can go over to the island. And he would always talk about her big legs, her calves. And he met her, and it finally met, and I guess they started having a relationship. Like on Sundays, they would take, New York had a lot of the double-decker buses and stuff, and they didn't have much money. That little 5 cent, if they had a nickel saved, the nickel was to go for that little bus ride, or it was a dime, it would go for that little bus ride, and we would ride up and down the avenue on that and sightsee and different things like that. And that was it. And that was the end of the day. Get something to eat. You know, if you had a little ducats of money, you would go and find something to cook, you know, and you would eat it. But they got a relationship, and then they ended up, my father ended up establishing a relationship with her, and he knew about her two boys. And he said that they couldn't stay down there no more. He said he gave her money, and he said, you go and get your boys and bring them back home. Bring them here.
Real love story right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And I'm going to take care of them. And that's what he did. And I mean, he raised them until they was, you know, teenage, and they was ready to move on and establish, you know, get jobs, careers, or whatever it was. And that was it, you know. For a while she worked and not worked. And, you know, she was working when she had us and stuff like that. Our babies began to come. And so it is until I came, and then I had a younger brother as well.
That's it was a lot in that. But I do really like in this conversation, this journey that we're going on with Ellie and her life, how you can really see like the importance of family. So like it really talks to like how times were hard, and some people still face these kinds of hard times, but times were hard enough that she had to send her children away to be taken care of, but also how the love is there, and how that is just that's just a part of being in a family unit, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't no qualms about, you know, like, what am I going to do with the kids? She was able to send them down south, and they be safe and be taken care of and get their education and still communicate with them, no matter how hard it may be. And I think it speaks to the resilience of mothers to be able to do that. So like, even though I'm not right here with you by your side, I can still make sure that you have everything you need, that you're getting the love you're supposed to get, that you're being taken care of, that you're getting your education, all the things that mothers are supposed to care about, and still kind of like hold on to these feelings of, you know, like, I wish I was with my children, or I wish I was able to have them right here by me, but it's my responsibility, my duty, and out of
Right.
my part that I can make sure they get everything that they need. So I really love that. I love that story. I know that it was a hard thing. That would be a hard thing for her, and a hard thing for, I believe, any mother who would
Yes.
have to make that decision. You know, but that's just comes with the territory of being a mom, making these hard decisions like every day, chicken or steak. You know
What's really fascinating is that she also had a mom that was able to do that, you know, because her mother told her to send them.
Yeah.
You know, she told her to send them down.
And that kind of support just really travels down the lines. Like it's important. And then for her to be in New York and have the support of her grandmother when she needed it.
Yeah, I mean, she was still around, but she ended up, like I said, she got on her feet and all like that. Mm-hmm. And speaking of children being sent, my the youngest daughter, her sister, she left not too far behind my mother, because I think they're like 3 years apart or something like that. So she ended up leaving and coming up to New York as well. And she had a child. Her oldest child is Louise. You know, in the family. I don't mind mentioning their names because I'm telling true story. Anyway, she same thing with her, because she was younger than my mom, and she ended up sending her baby down to Savannah, Georgia as well. So Archie, Donald, and Louise were coming together as if they were brother and sister.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
shout out to Louise because she's like the matriarch of our family now. Is there any other living cousin or family member that's older than her?
Well, recent in the last couple of years, we did have one person that was older, and that was cousin Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
Yeah, and cause she's my oldest first cousin, and she was down there too. She was down there too because she remembered, my mother remembered when she was sent down there, because she said, and she ended up, because she was a baby, my mother was older, and she said, and she always said it as they grew up, that was her favorite, that's my favorite niece, that's my favorite niece. You know, she always did say that. And then, of course, other nieces, you know, were coming. But yeah, somebody is older than Louise. You know, but she's past the one.
Shout out to Louise, because she's still here with us. Shout out to Charles Zeta, who recently
Yes.
transitioned. Shout out to all these like beautiful Black, chocolate, thick leg women in our family.
Yeah. And they all have their story.
Right. And you can put us all in a lineup and be like, oh, they related.
Yeah. And I mean, their story, I can sit and I just listen to them. I've been listening to them, you know, all my life, even when they got into their little rooms and had their little arguments, I was listening.
Right.
I was like, now what is this about?
We're here.
Got the mighty news.
Right. Those sayings from grandma. My favorite saying from grandma was she called it the trifecta. So I don't know if you remember this, but we would be driving at night or something, and somebody would like walk out in the street, and she would just be like, the trifecta. You black, you wearing black, and it's black outside.
That was a big deal, wasn't it? And you know, and by the time you heard it, it probably was really funny to you, but had been hearing that.
Yeah. They used to make me giggle, and then when something was like real juicy to her, she would be like, And listen, I can't even imitate it, but that little hum, like, girl, it was like she would be humming, girl.
Yeah, she would, but when she would go,
Right.
that right there, that was it.
Oh man.
I mean, I heard her do that on a soap opera.
Right. But I do it too. When I be watching TV, I'll be like,
I do it. I do it like
You don't have to remind me, like, it's just a show. It's just a show. I'll be like, is it? Is it?
It
so
seemed very real to me.
I know, so involved. Yeah. Grandma.
Yeah, those were the things, you know, that wearing the black shirt and being black and being outside in the nighttime, that was it right there. That was it. She'd be like, oh, please, why don't he just go on in the house?
She would be so burnt out by that. So burnt out. Like, would it be different if they was wearing white? Like, I don't know. But it's so funny. That's something that I truly remember.
Yes.
So before we get into this, like a little walk down memory lane, I wanted to talk a little bit about her professional life. Like, I know that she worked in the operating room But that wasn't really a common occupation for Black women during that time. So how did she kind of like end up in that field, and what was she able to accomplish?
Well, okay, so let's go back to the fact that she left home. She was 14, so obviously she didn't finish school, and I don't think she went even when she was in Georgia. I really don't think she went past the seventh grade. Seventh grade. It could be the sixth grade. I'm not sure. But up in New York, she got, I guess jobs and stuff like that. She worked in hospitals and stuff, worked around cleaning and different things like that. But I don't know how specifically she got to the operating room, but I know that she learned those different instruments that a doctor would use during surgery. And she learned those pieces, and she learned them, and she learned them well. She didn't have any diplomas, any degrees, or anything like that, and she really did learn it. And these doctors fell in love with her because she was able to do it, accomplish something, and she was as a left-handed person.
Oh wow!
And so she was being requested because she knew she could work it with her left hand, especially those doctors who needed that type of treatment on that side. So it's like she was like, bam, what you need a scalp, bam. She knew, so she was a surgical technician.
Wow.
So she became a surgical tech, and this is, and I marveled at that all through life because she never got a degree or anything like that. She learned how to do something that today required, you do have to go to school. You do have to have a certification or something and actually work that position. I do know a couple of surgical techs right now. That's what they do. And I remember when they were studying it, and I always gave the story. My mom did that job. She was a surgical tech, and they loved her because she was a left-handed surgical tech. Because this is a right-hand world.
Right.
Everything right-handed, but we live in a world with left-handed people too. The left hand is dominating, and she was able to do that. And so that was her, I want to say that was her piece of education.
If that is not some Black girl magic or Black queen magic, I don't know what is. I just know that like we stayed taking nothing and making it into something.
Right.
Like, how do you go from being a cleaner in an establishment to being an operating room and requested, highly requested?
Be requested.
Right.
And it's not like her day started like later in the morning, like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. No, they was up like at the crack of dawn. I was going to say something else, but the crack of dawn to get on the bus to get over on New York, where they could get the ferry so they could travel over to the island. Okay. And so traveling was from 6 o'clock in the morning to maybe like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so you could be on the job, to be in a place where you can work. And then the same thing to come back home. So her day was long. Her day was long. It wasn't like everybody screaming about having part-time hours. I could work 4 hours and I'll be done. No, you would never survive. Okay, you would never survive. You would never learn anything. That's what they had to do to keep things going.
Yeah, that blesses my soul. That really excites me.
Yeah.
To hear that. So I just want to get into some of our favorite things about Ellie. Like, my favorite thing about Ellie is just remembering my childhood, spending time in her home, laying across that floor, watching. We had like a rotation of 2 movies at grandma's house on VHS, and sometimes we would spend the night there, or we would be there like on a Saturday morning. Because during the week, if we was there, we was just watching the soap operas with her. But we would watch Never Ending Story.
I knew you was gonna say Never Ending Story.
Yes, and we would watch The Muppets.
Oh my.
The Muppets movie, and I don't recall any other movies that we had over there, but we would lay across that floor and watch them movies a million times over, me and my brothers.
And she would put it on. Y'all gonna sit there quiet and watch the movie. Here.
I would watch it every single time and be amazed every single time. Like, oh, this is so funny, or this is so decent. And never really requested a new movie. Like, I'm really trying to think, like, did we have, maybe John or Justin will remember this, but did we have other movies at grandma's house? I don't know.
You probably did, but that was something that you liked, and that's what y'all liked. And grandma was, she was going to play it, and she just went on and done it. And it's funny because, okay, so that's something that is in you, you would do that, because I do that now. Like, I can watch something over and over and over. John will come in, Dad will come in and say, you watching that again? Didn't you see that? You know, it's just on, like, I can be sewing, you know, and the TV in the other room, and I'm keeping up with what they're saying. I was like,
yeah, I'm definitely that person. Like, if I watch a movie and I like it, like, it's just as funny to me the 47th time I watched it than like the first time I watched it. I'm gonna crack up just as hard. And even movies like that's suspenseful that I know what to expect, I'm still like holding my breath.
It's just the weirdest thing. Like, you know what's gonna happen.
Why am I like this? Because I got trained watching the same 2 movies with grandma's for years. And I used to love when we would like go out. I loved watching y'all relationship because y'all was like that was your mom, but you was like homies too. We was there no less than 3 times a week. So 3 was the minimum that we was at grandma's house. You always took her everywhere she needed to go.
Yes.
The doctors, it was the market. If she just wanted to get out and go shopping, if it was to get something to eat, whatever it was, and we would load up in the van and we would go. And we would be at Roy Rogers or, well, we was at Roy Rogers before Roy Rogers was no more. And then it switched over to, was it Popeyes? All I know is that she would be like, oh, get the kids some chicken.
Listen.
Oh, Tracy, let the kids have some chicken.
You know, because she wanted some chicken.
Right.
She was gonna eat
I realize that now. Let the kids get some chicken because she really wanted some chicken. But that's one thing. And every time we went out, she would make sure we had some chicken coming home. And like I said, sometimes it would be 3 times a week. So we would child all the Roy Rogers and Popeyes of our dreams, honey.
Yes.
I'll be like, ooh, we going out with grandma today. Like, about to get this cheeseburger and a wing. Okay?
Yes, you're gonna have them both, you know. And she wanted y'all to have it too. I mean, on the weekends and Friday, you know, finally the ending of the week and all of this kind of stuff. And she's like, okay, Tracy, take me to such and such and such. Tracy, take me, da, 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 da. And then I would have to do stuff, and then not forgetting that y'all was in school, I was like, okay, well, we got to get over here and get these kids, you know, because they get ready to get out of school. And we would go and get y'all, and then she would still, the last thing she would want is for us to get, you know, especially on a Friday.
Yeah.
She was like, go ahead and get them chicken, Tracy, and then that way you won't have to cook nothing when you go home. Well, you know, I was down for that.
I know that's right. I'm always down for that. You don't have to cook that when you get home. And the biscuits. Always make sure we have biscuits.
Yes.
And this is what I learned from you, because especially after you got the van and we would roll up to the drive-thru and you would be looking right in the window.
Yes.
Give me that piece. Don't give me that piece. And if they brought it to the window and it wasn't right, ooh, buddy.
I have taken chicken all the way back.
Biscuits in my bag. I don't want them biscuits. I want the light biscuits to the left.
Yes. Listen, how they say it in the
You would be like, reaching in the window, like, not them biscuits, them.
Like you would think you would go inside the store to do all of that. No, you can do that at the window.
No.
You can do that at the window.
Because we right here. We are in the store.
I'm like, did you put my straws in there?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Did you put my ketchup in there?
Listen, I got it honest. I'm just saying that.
Now that right there, if y'all didn't get that part, then y'all was sleeping while y'all was growing up.
No.
You're supposed to learn that.
Everything before you even put, and don't let us get all the way home and it be wrong, child. We would sit right there, and the tray would take that all the way back and be like, "This ain't right," and come back with a new fresh batch.
Yes, that time when I got it, I remember specifically they made us wait for this chicken. This wasn't even Popeyes. I think this was Roy Rogers. It probably happened with Popeyes as well. But the chicken, they made me wait, and then I finally got the chicken and stuff like that. By the time I got home, the chicken was ice cold. I mean, not refrigerated ice cold. It was just cold. I wanted a hot, crispy piece of chicken.
Yeah.
I packed everything back up. I said, oh no, I'm not eating this. I went all the way back. It was a couple miles. I got it.
Yeah, you don't see where I get it from.
I went all the way back and I told them, I was like, look, and then when y'all get I ran it all down and stuff like that. And they was like, well, and hey, look, don't be peeping in the box trying to pick out a piece to say, well, this one ain't right and that one not right and we'll replace it. No, give me a brand new box of chicken.
Listen,
my kids gotta eat this.
A long line of Black women who not going to take no cold chicken and no hard biscuits.
No.
So that should tell you about who I am.
Them biscuits is hard because they will get over when you at the window, you're going to drive away. And they figure, well, okay, throw these hard biscuits in there. But I learned to check everything before I let the people behind me blow all they want to. I want to make sure you gave me what I want.
I know that's right.
Yes.
So we're going to have to do a whole nother show of just Tracyisms. Today we talking about Ellie, but it really talking about her helps you understand like who we
like
are.
Yourself. But see, yeah, because she was like that. She would be listen, now she did it New York style because I've seen her. You don't listen, you know your grandma, but you don't really know your grandma.
I know.
Let me tell you something.
I already know because I know how I am.
Like me going down and fighting for my kids at school and all this kind of stuff. Listen, that was Ellie all the way. They did what? I mean, she would pack up, look, Richard, take me down there. Get me down there, because she didn't drive.
Right.
Get me down there. Oh no, they did such and such and such. And she would go down there if it was a fight between me and some kids and stuff like that, because it wasn't me fighting, because I didn't start. Okay, but if somebody was messing with me and this, that, and the other, she did it when we was living in Brooklyn, New York. It ain't changed. Moved from Brooklyn, we came to Philadelphia, same thing. I'm going down there to see what's going on. Nobody gonna put their hands on my child. And I really appreciated my mother for that. And she used to get on me, she used to tell me, and I know about turning the other cheek and everything. But she told me to fight back. You got to fight back. And she was always concerned about me being meek or quiet and stuff like that. She was like, but then my father came along and said, what you need to do is you go get the one that's the bully and punch them in the mouth.
So you had Ellie, but then you had Papa picking it up a notch.
Yeah.
Like the reinforcement. That's called teamwork.
Yeah, and even though he was a peacemaker, he just like, you know, he hated to tell us that kind of stuff, but he was like, if you get the bully, you're gonna be all right. And my mother used to say the same thing. She used to say, you go get the loudest one.
Right.
Go get them.
You'll be all right. I know that's right. So I definitely enjoy like this walk down memory lane. I probably can go on and on and on about just memories and my thoughts of her and just who I am today because of her, because of you, because of all the beautiful Black women in our family. So what is a lesson that she's taught you that you carry throughout your journey now as a mother, as a wife, as a woman, as a Black woman? What is something that specifically like a jewel, a gem that came from her? Like I know that, like we just talked about how she, you know, basically says stand up for yourself, fight for yourself. You know, what's something that you just hold on to so near and dear to your heart from her?
Well, one of the things that she always said was, don't give up. Like it was one of these things where she was worryation about what somebody else is doing. You know, leave what all the worrying about, they did this and they did that. No. She used to always say, Tracy, it's not the one who start, but it's going to be the one who finish.
That's it right there.
Not the one who start, it's the one who finish. We all can start. We all can start, but we have to endure to, even the Bible tells us that. So, you know, I mean, I don't know where she got that from, and I can't say that she got it from the Bible, but I do know this, it's biblically sound. You know, it's not.
I'm gonna hit an A right there, but I might knock the flowers over and stuff.
Yes, you know.
Stop it the way we finish.
Yes.
It's a word. That's the word.
Always tell me that. You know, it's not the one who started worrying about this one over here because they're doing this or they're doing that. So she told me that worry at a young age, I had to get rid of that. Or don't come home talking about it. Because she would always be like, you know, so what? Right. Let them do what they're doing. You know, it's the one who finished. And she could really, really give a line of different things that she started in her life and she was able to, you know, complete it. There was plenty of things that she wanted to do that was unable to finish or didn't finish. But she always did say, if you let it go, it's going to be gone. You know, it's you've quit it. You left it aside. You didn't finish it. So that's for us today. Like all of us have started stuff. We start and start and starting. I've done it several times thinking about this one started this and that one started that. It looked like my stuff ain't gonna make it, or my stuff ain't gonna do, or my stuff is not important. The race is not for both of us. I'm racing against myself. And you know, I gotta go and I just gotta get certain things done. I just gotta get certain things done. If I'm gonna sew, I'm gonna sew. If I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance. If I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. You know, there's a whole lot of singers that started, and the ones who are successful or the ones who did not stop.
Well, that's the word for me today. Because I really have been thinking a lot about like what's the thing, right? Like what's my thing? What am I truly passionate about? And I know that I've had my hands in a lot of different pots, and I could be good at everything, but sometimes that results in not finishing. So, what is really the thing that I can grow and build and really ultimately um, improve the quality, improve the human condition, right? Improve the
Yeah.
quality of other people's lives.
The quality of life.
Yep, I have to offer while I'm here in this realm. So I believe that platforms like this is part of that. And so honoring our ancestors, our legacy, is part of that. And we have to have these spaces where we can openly express ourselves and share gems from, our ancestors, our grandmothers, our aunties, our mothers, so that we can move forward and do the same thing for, our generations. So I'm I'm grateful for that. That was a word on this Wednesday.
Yeah,
Much
yeah.
needed it.
I hear you. I hear you. That's the main thing. That's for all of us, to hold on to what God has given you. You're gifted. There's things that we can all start. And guess what? Maybe something that is not working out for you right then. But don't you? It's not that you're quitting it. There'll be a time when you have to come back to it and go back to it full force. So that's a must do. Go back to it. Go back, go back, go back, go back. And you never know what you can do until you actually get started. You have to start. Sometimes we sit up there and think about different things and not just not start it. Just not start it. It was all up in your head. The plans is all there and things like that. So what is it going to take for you to actually start it and get on your 2 feet and say, I'm going to do this? I'm the type of person, I think that I have a lot of things going, but I function better with putting full force into one specific thing and then moving on to the next thing. That's just me. That's just how I learned this. That's how I operate. And I think my mother Ellie, I think she probably was like that without voicing this out. I think that she probably was like that. Because when I think about the many things when I think about some of the things that we do today, I'm thinking about me sewing. Well, my mom, she sewed. She sewed. She made all my dresses when I was a little girl. All of them. And I'm like, but then she ended up letting it go. You know what I mean? I don't know if she just wanted me to have a nice dress. She would buy the pattern, get the fabric, and make it. And I had something that she wanted to see me in, and I looked good. And so she kept on with that. She liked painting. Even though she did the paint by numbers, she loved art. So I'm just the time period that she came in, um, there was just no, the way life was going, it just nobody was digging in her skin to say, well, why don't you do this? Or that path for her to actually do art, So in her mind, she probably couldn't see it going anywhere. So you don't do it. But it doesn't mean that she didn't love art. She loved art. She was doing it left-handed, and to see her do a paint by number and pictures and stuff like that. And so, of course, I picked up doing the paint by numbers, and then I bought y'all paint by numbers, because it was a way to open you up and use color and use different things and kind of broaden us and stuff like that. Even though she didn't know what she was doing as far as that goes, but she did do it, and it was introduced to our family way back then. Another thing that she had in her was music. She had piano lessons when she was a little girl, and she knew the keyboard. She knew that keyboard all the way up until she passed away. She knew the keyboard and stuff, and she wanted me to go to music school. but because of cost and finances, she never sent me to school. But music was around us. She loved piano, and in that basement over at the house that where she passed away, where she lived for so many years, there's sheet music in there because she learned how to play the piano, and she learned. See, the thing about it is she learned how to read the music.
Well, she should have been teaching me.
I know. But I'm just saying that's what was there, what was in her, and when you say that she loved music and things that are coming out of you, it's coming from way back there.
Yeah.
The desire to go to school and be educated. My grandmother, she did go to Lucy Laney College, all the way down south. Nobody knew that realized that until she was way old and getting ready to pass away. So all of these things are in our family. That's history in our family, and it's in our bloodline. Yes, there's in everybody's bloodline has negative things in the bloodline, but it's your bloodline. When things start coming off, and it's like, where did that come from? Somebody in the family. Somebody in the family was, may have done some crazy things or whatever, stuff like that, but they are blood. We still love them, and we learn from everything. We learn from all of the mistakes, that people had made and things like that. How can I do this? How can I do it and do it better? And so that's what's in our family, and so I believe that what comes from all of that there's a level of wisdom that I have within me, and I pray that I'm able to pass wisdom on to my kids.
Oh yeah.
It's about the wisdom.
The wisdom meters definitely tilting.
Yeah.
Wisdom,
because that's a gift to be able to learn stuff and you be full of knowledge of a lot of things, but to be able to have an understanding and how to use what you got, and so I just appreciate, we're talking about Ellie, I just appreciated the things that I was able to pick up from her. And it wasn't until I got even much older that I really took a look at her life and have an understanding of why certain things was done at certain times.
Yeah.
And why, I can only imagine the hardship. I can only imagine the hardship, and this is why this, and this, have we ever stopped and thought about the hurt in the person, or why is this person so shy? Why is the person, why not coming out of a shell or this, that, and the other? Because we don't know what they went through. We don't know what they went through. We don't know, okay, leaving home at 14 years old, what kind of impact did that really have? You know what I mean? Having a baby at 17, and your parents is not there away, one of your parents is gone. I mean, that's a big impact. And finally ended up with 5 children, getting married and all of that kind of stuff, having a divorce at one time. All of these things play an impact on a person's life.
Yeah.
So by the time the kids are growing up, you don't know really what they went through. So when you become a teenager and the parent is trying to tell you this or trying to tell you that, you're not willing to listen all the time, because we teenagers and we just want to kind of move around and kind of do our thing, but you just don't know. They really showing you something, really teaching you something that they've learned or what they have come through and the hurts that they have had, and they don't want to see you hurt. I mean, I can say that from my heart, like I'm grateful that I don't think that my life was bad, but there was things in our childhood and my childhood, you don't feel it and you don't get hit with it until you actually are grown and you actually live. And when you start looking back on certain things, it makes you cry because you be like, why did we have to move from here to there? And why, when I made friends over here, I had to go move over here. We was in Philadelphia, then we was in New York, and then we was in Brooklyn, and then we was in the Bronx, and then we had to, that has an impact on the child when you move around.
And it also kind of speaks to the lens that you look at things at different points in your life. So the things that you look at as a child, like it being unfair or hard, and then as an adult being able to realize how that affected you, or even the reason why behind it, so that you have an understanding of just life, because of all these things make up what your life is. But I did want to point out that even through all of the hardship, there was still joy. So like there was, life was hard and we had to hustle for it, and you start raising a family and just all these things, these intricacies that make our life what it is. But there's so much joy wrapped in that. And I think the beauty of life is really honoring those joyful moments.
You know what I wanted to say, what I would say about that is that, hey, listen, if it wasn't for those joyful moments, you probably wouldn't have made it through. But somehow, some way, all of that got turned around. Like there is a lot of joy. There was a joy in being involved with a family and being close with your family. So no matter what, hey, listen, it was 12 kids with only five slices of bread, but everybody still ate, right. And everybody still ate, and everybody still, y'all talk about how me and Dad, stretched the meal. Let me tell you, nobody stretched the meal like Eleanor Elmore.
Well, listen, that's where you got from. And I don't know how to make no little meal.
You know what I know? Isn't that something?
Making a pot of something. It's just me. Like, what am I making a pot? I'm about to go make some spaghetti now.
And you be like, why am I making all of this food?
Yeah, and it's just because the way we was raised, and that idea of really just, taking care of family and making sure that family has everything that they need.
Absolutely. And there was joy in that. Listen, when we were coming along, Mom, listen, we didn't know, okay, so it was poor time. Okay, it was a poor time, but the kids, we didn't understand poor. Because right. we always got, it's not that we just got what we wanted. It was, we were surviving, scratching and surviving. We was surviving, and we was, we had our meals, we had friends that would come around, all of us was like poor, but we loved each other. There's a joy. Somehow, some way that's kind of got turned around, where now the hardships and the things that people have gone through, they've become angry.
Yeah.
And haven't found, it's just so much, the impact is so much, but I don't know, the impact back then to me was great. It was grand, we lived through pandemic, they lived through a pandemic back then, they lived through, the whole poverty thing with hardly no food coming, all the way down to the fact that they were serving horse meat. We didn't eat the horse meat though. But I'm just saying, but guess what? Lived through it, and Mom and Pop, they found a way, and they had family come over, friends come over. Yes, they had their little bottle and they sipped on it. They laughed, they talked, they, I don't know, they listen, we talk about how we get together and play games and stuff like that. Well, listen, they used to play some of that music back then, and the Lindy Hop and all of these different things. And before Mom came back to Philadelphia or whatever, they used to go to the Savoy Ballroom. You know about the Savoy Ballroom. You know, they would be there, and they did a lot of dancing. They did a lot of dancing, a lot of things to feel joy. You know what I mean? A lot of things to feel happiness. And they still had the kids. They still had things that they had to do to take care of the kids. But it was enough family, you know, well, y'all go ahead on. Y'all, let the kids stay here. Y'all go ahead. Let the kids listen. Older cousins was taking care of the younger cousins. Yeah. We were all sisters and brothers, you know.
I even now talking to Janelle, my god sister, she always talks about how you and her mom, Princess, would drop us off at Ellie's so that y'all go out.
Yeah, well, she knew Ellie quite well.
Yes, and we was like, what? She's one, and I'm in the swing.
Yes, she's one. You in the swing, and I'm like, we're gonna come right back. So let her tell the story.
Oh yeah, I've heard the stories now.
You know, and we would be right back. Like we'd be right. And listen, I let her do the talking.
Right.
Okay? My mom knew I didn't have it in me to be doing all that talking. Like, if she wasn't there, she would tell me, I'll go somewhere and sit down. I would go somewhere and sit down.
Okay.
But she was there, and it was, you know, we get agitated because y'all took too long and this, that, and the other. But she knew that we weren't doing nothing really crazy. We was having fun. To see the laughter and see the smiles and stuff, and that was okay. And she would get your baby and you're going home. I don't know.
So I want to keep the joy going. We are going to close out little Stevie Wonder, happy birthday. So I want everybody to kind of like join in with us.
Yes.
Happy birthday to Ellie. I'm gonna play a snippet, maybe a little more than a snippet. Listen now, can you hear that okay, Mom?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, cool. And so I just want to do a little bop, a little shoulder, a little side to side to say happy birthday to Ellie. We celebrate you. It is your 100th anniversary of being born, and I'm so grateful to have had you. I'm so grateful to have had this conversation with my own mother about our family and just overall our strength and resilience and our commitment to finding the joy and what it is to exist as Black women in this era of our life.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Ellie.
Yes. And really, the birthday is actually really for us.
I know. I wish I can get up and really shake it, but I don't want to knock down my flowers.
Don't knock down those flowers.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
So I was gonna say, it was saying happy birthday, but she really isn't here, so it's hard to actually say happy birthday to her. It actually falls on us. We're celebrating. It's really happy birthday for us.
Yeah.
Because she was here and she brought us here, and I was able to bring you here. So that's the whole thing. Today was her birthday. Who would have known that 38 years later she was to have a daughter, and that daughter was with me, and she would not have known that. I think it was, if you add 25 onto that, what does that come out? Is that 63 or something like that? 62?
Mhm.
Who would have known 62 years after her birth, she would have had a grandchild like you. So it's the celebration. It's like our birthday.
Yes, because every day is our birthday.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Mom, aka Trey Bay, aka New Trey, to your followers. 'Cause you got new trade clan going on over there. And so I'm glad that we were able to have this long overdue conversation and set it up for many, many more. Because we definitely got to get into Treyisms. Okay.
Into
Because I
what?
get it from my mom.
What you said? We got to get into what?
I said we got to get into Treyisms.
Oh, I don't think y'all want to do that.
Here she go, being modest. All right. Take us out, Stevie. Go happy birthday.
Y'all.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, just wow. I am just so grateful that I have my mother still here with me to share these kind of stories and have these kind of conversations. B, that we're able to honor our ancestors in this way, to keep their memories alive, to just know about the things that they loved and care about, and to know that you're a part of that, that is a piece of you and you are a piece of that. How life is just so evolutionary, and I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I can never say that enough. Make sure y'all practice gratefulness, y'all, because just life will be on a beam, for real, if y'all practice gratefulness. If you can find the gratefulness in every situation, even when things seem incredibly difficult, your spirit will just your spirit will thank you for it, because you have to exist in this life, and sometimes it gets hard, but that's probably a whole nother show, child. So to close us out, I just want to give a very special thank you to my mother, Queen Mother, okay, New Trey, aka Mom, aka Trey Bay, who held it down today. I want to give a very special thank you to La on the ones and twos. Thank you for helping me out with my producing and my recording today. I appreciate you. I love you. Okay. She said she has no choice. But anyway, it be like a team of 1 to 2 some days. So you gotta give props when props is due. And of course, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for checking us out tonight on this journey, this semi brand new journey, I guess I'll say. Um, this is the start to something grand, and I can't wait to have y'all along for the ride. So share this video. If anything, stood out to you, resonates with you, make sure you comment. Thank you so much for joining me. Give snippets, screen record the parts that mean the most to you. Tag me, okay? At Queen Phierce, of Queen Phierce on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. That's Fierce with a PH. Okay, I gotta put that out there. Queen Phierce. Okay, because PH make the sound, and I like it. All right. Um. So I love y'all, and to close us out, I want to share this poem that I wrote in honor of my grandmother to be included in one of my projects that hasn't been released yet. But I have never shared this poem before. And so I'm going to, every time I read it, even when I read it to myself, I'll just burst into tears. So y'all going to have to excuse me if it get a little emotional, because I'm a Capricorn. It be like that sometimes. Don't be trying to play me. Don't be trying to play me. The sidelines be trying to play me, but I'm serious. Being transparent with y'all. And so this poem is called A Letter to Grandma. It's an honor to carry your name, although it gets weighty at times. I've tried to set it aside, but it's mine. I've learned to own it, live up to its legacy that you created. Just be who the birth certificate and social security card say I am, because it's the piece of you that remains. The name. The name that has followed me through school and work and taxes. The uncommon, the last of my breed, especially with the color cocoa we are. I honor you, Eleanor Elmore. When it was your time for spirit to rest, I didn't know it would be a test, that it would be this experience that taught me what selfishness is, because I so badly wanted you to stay. I believe so strongly that you would recover from the cancer. The thought of you dying never crossed my mind. I didn't understand the why God would allow this suffering, why eventually it was time for your departure. It was the first conflict that I had ever had with God. I didn't know this would be the experience to teach me what strength is, that cursing Him and blessing Him in the same conversation makes you human, that I would be the shoulder people cried on when you passed on. My narrow 17-year-old shoulders that are built like yours absorbed so much of you that day. That day, I saw your peace and I kissed your cheek. My heart sent you on your way, but you never left. You never left because I'm still here and I carry you when every journey, accomplishment, mistake, and victory. I know you are proud. Proud of each moment that designed me, proud of each failure because they become a success. I became a success. We became a success because you were there, Eleanor Elmore, because the essence of your presence supported me, because your residue, your scent, and one of your house coats is all I need to be reassured that God assigns angels to your life. I love you, Eleanor Elmore. Love always, Seisha Elmore. Woo, child, I tried. I was holding on for y'all. But enough of this crying business. We're going to keep the celebration going, okay? Happy birthday, Grandmom. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I hope that you are stomping the streets of gold right now, because we honor you on this, your 100th birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.